Hello and welcome to another MCO market update on Bitcoin. Yeah, we can see that Bitcoin is performing quite well. Bitcoin is going up together with the stock indexes. So we've seen the S&P 500 futures, ES futures, as well as the Nasdaq futures open to the upside today. Bitcoin is following that move, or is moving with the stock indexes, at least with the futures prices. And that, however, so far was not particularly surprising, given that all the support levels have been holding and the price is even testing to break above a trend line. That's the trend line that we talked about in the previous video. Also, we talked about that earlier today on X, on Twitter. Some discussions with you. We talked about this trend line here. I asked some of you, and again, I can only invite you to join us here on X for further discussions. Just make sure you only follow the account with the golden check mark. This is where, some of you come together and we have discussions. Earlier today, I asked you about your opinion. Are we going to see a breakout or a rejection? I wouldn't call what we see at the moment a sustained breakout above the trend line, but I'm always interested to hear what the community says, what the MCO family believes, says. What's the sentiment like? Essentially, that's what we are tracking also from an Elliott Wave point of view. And really, really split opinions. I mean, a lot of you breakout, reject, breakout incoming, rejection, time for breakout, rejection, breakout, rejection, breakout. So you see split opinions, but always interested to hear what the community thinks. So make sure that you follow us there as well. By the way, you get some additional video updates there. Today, for example, I covered ICP. These videos are not always uploaded on YouTube. By the way, the link to that channel is in the comment section pinned. So here on the daily time frame, I mean, this is what we've been tracking, what we're still tracking. So higher is absolutely expected. What we cannot rule out at this point is another low, but that is a promising candle, a promising start to the week that we see right now. Obviously, the weekly candle isn't closed, but when you watch it, it will be closed probably. So we'll see how the Asian market is performing, or the Asian traders are going to move the furniture. But yeah, it's good to see that we get at least an attempted break above this trend line. I wouldn't call that a decisive break yet. We'll see how the daily and the weekly candle closes. But overall, as you know, we are watching for a bounce to at least 90.9K. That was a very clear statement from me over the last few days, that I'd like to see the market get into that resistance area next. And we should get a relief rally, which is possibly this one already. But I'd like to see a more substantial break above this trend line, also above this March high that formed around $87,530. Overall, support is still holding. Previous gap support is holding. Fibonacci support is holding. Or the only problem is that we only have 3 waves up from the low, and that is exactly what we're tracking on the shorter time frame. So obviously we had a reversal here in this support zone. Maybe I should zoom out a bit ridiculous. I'm on the 5-minute chart. So the idea was that a larger degree fourth wave potentially bottomed on the 11th of March. What we've been tracking so far is a wave 1 to the upside, a wave 2 to the downside. Yeah, we talked about that in the previous video. Absolutely no change here. Then an A wave up, a B wave down, and we could now be in the C wave up. Now, what we talked about before, like 90, 91, 92K would be a reasonable target for, and I have to change wave degrees here, just otherwise it gets too messy. In this third wave, we'd like to see it go higher, obviously. That was the communication. The thing is, though, that we really need all 5 waves completed for a confirmation that a low is in. But then obviously we are already probably in mid 90K area. So that's why we said, okay, for anybody who wants to trade this already, we've got a support zone here for this B wave pullback. I will remove that now. It did hold. Price turned around where it needed to. And then we had a good response to that support area on the 21st of March. But hey, also here, only 3 waves up so far. So I sketched out what a 5-wave move to the upside would actually look like. And again, I need to make sure the wave degrees, I don't mess around with these too much. But yeah, also here we have so far only 3 waves up. The support zone I shared with you in the previous update is still holding. The trend line is actually still holding. So also here we have an A, B, and the C wave that seems to be extending. So thesis might be this could be a 3rd wave of the C wave or something. I mean, it's a bit unclear because initially I thought we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be wave 1 of C. But the higher we go, the more likely it gets this will be all of wave C. So we'll have to be a bit flexible, but for now, there's no reason yet to be bearish, really. What I thought a little earlier was that maybe this 4th wave pullback had already started. What I kind of forgot was that, you know, this was when the US stock market opened. So it pushed a bit higher, but that's very much in line still with the bullish structures I'm tracking here. And yeah, I mean, overall, it depends on how much this now extends, whether this is going to be all of the C wave. But for now, I'm tracking another smaller degree 5 wave move. I think what you see here in the orange count, that would be a pathway how the chart could do it directly. I mean, in a very direct fashion, 2 pathways essentially. White count would be that this here is only a wave 1. Wave 1 of C, and then we might get another wave 2 pullback. But chances are that if the market is really bullish, we might not even see that deep wave 2 before we go higher, okay? Bear in mind, we were a very oversold condition. The orange count is a more direct path higher, in which we are going higher more directly and form this C wave in a very direct fashion, actually. And in that case, it's just a slightly different subdivision. Yep, wave B bottomed here in both cases. This is wave 1, wave 2, A, B, C of wave 3, then 4, then 5. And I think what we'll now do is slightly adjust support according with the orange count. Best to do it like that, because that is now updated support for the orange count, and also in the white count, we shouldn't break below 84,170 anymore. That means if we are in the orange count at any point, we should now stay above that level, and in the white count as well. Otherwise, it would be too deep for a 4th wave, even in a diagonal. So that's how I'm tracking this now. There are ultimately other scenarios that could play out still. For now, however, as long as pullbacks remain corrective, the focus is on higher. For those of you who are asking, because I mentioned it in the previous video, I saw some comments. I did open a futures trade on Friday down here. Today, I have taken 30% of profits just to make sure that I've taken something off the table. I leave everything else running for now. Stop is still below the Saturday low, and but depending on how it's playing out, I might take a little bit more profit. This is only a futures trade. As some of you know, or many of you know, I bought on the way down already around, can't even remember where those levels were, that I think 83K or something spot. You know, I do mention when I buy and sell in our membership on Discord. I never, you know, I'm not saying anybody should copy because everybody's got their own plan and everything, but in case you're interested, you can see it there as well. Overall, at the moment, what should we say here? Well, all we can do is now track support higher. This is exactly what we wanted, that rally. The next breakout line is here around 86,580. That would be next important structural resistance. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, as I said, make sure that you follow us on X for further discussions, updates, and so on. Bonus updates. Yeah, check it out. Have a great start to the week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.